And somewhere they need to fit in mini games because those are
Oh my
great.
gosh, we need minigame. I know.
Oh
That's what
man, I know.
I like. The minigames are so fun. Like, come on,
They're
we need
so great.
minigames.
Oh,
We need
man.
freaking Chansey Egg Catch or Scyther Slice. Dude, Logan, how long? I mean, I can't even remember how many times like when we would all sleep over, how late we'd stay up, just like playing and taking turns on those mini games.
Some of the best times, man. Like,
You know, so it can be really hard, especially if you like are putting a lot of like effort and emotional energy into the tournament, and like you prepared really hard and you're going in with like a lot of confidence. And I mean, everybody walks through those tournament doors, those venue doors, and they imagine themselves like holding up the trophy. Like,
yeah,
like everybody does that. I don't think there are many people that go to these tournaments that don't envisioning themselves up on main stage winning the whole thing.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Skilling Podcast. We're back again with SnoozeVGC, or Preston, if you know him. We're going to get today to talk about some really fun stuff. We're going to catch up with him, see what he's been up to since the last time we chatted, and get to know the recent history of VGC for the past couple of months. Talk about the meta past, meta present, and meta future, and perhaps what Pokemon challenges, or champions, Pokemon Champions can be a part of with that and what it's going to bring into it. So first and foremost, Preston, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Some fun news is you and your brothers are taking over, but you're running right now a little card shop down in where you guys live. Talk about that. Tell us about those details.
It's actually so much fun. So there's a card shop that opened up in a town next to us. We live in a small area in Utah. And so when we heard that there was a Pokemon card shop opening up, we were kind of like shocked a little bit. And through my brother Kevin, he ended up working with this guy on some social media posts, which eventually evolved into me, Kevin, and my other brother Connor running like the whole online portion of the shop. So we do a bunch of streaming for the shop. A lot of maybe people more inclined to the card space know it as rip and ship. So we do a lot of online opening on the shop, but it's really cool because not only can we like open up cards, we get to do it with like a really cool shop owner, Thurman. He's such a cool guy, and we get to use like distribution, so like we don't feel yucky about like having to go and like steal like and scalp from stores, which is a huge issue right now with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Huge issue right now. So
that's crazy.
So it's nice that we can open up cards. We know that we're like getting stuff, and we can like interact with people in the community, and it's really, really fun. We've been doing it now for a couple months. And it's opened up a lot of opportunities for us to like also go to like tournaments and collecting conventions to look for more product and to make connections with other people in the space. It's been really, really cool the last few months to do it all.
That's dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say disclaimer for those maybe who on social media have seen like a viral clip of people doing some not so nice things at Targets or Walmarts or whatever.
Yeah, like fighting.
Preston is not a part of this. Yeah, he's not a part of it. He's doing this in the most wholesome, ethical way possible. So I gotta say, I was checking out their store, and we were chatting before we hit record, and I like to collect as well, and it's in an interesting spot right now where there's some not great stuff happening in the hobby, but there's also people like Preston and his brothers and Thurman who are doing a good job and care about the hobby and doing some good stuff. So it's cool to see this, man. Like I was gonna say I could honestly hijack the VGC talk and talk about Pokemon card, like to talk about the TCG for another hour. But yeah, no, it's cool, man. It's cool.
It's so funny because before I started like really working at the shop, like obviously I know all the Pokemon and I know what they do. But like I didn't really have like I've never been involved in the card space beyond like maybe opening up a pack here and there. So when I got into the shop, I had to like really dive back into like what are the cool cards and like what do people like and what's good competitively, what are people looking for. So it's like I've had to like kind of relearn and like this whole new side of Pokemon, which is kind of fun to like to experience a little bit more of the other side of the tracks, because I'm diehard video game VGC, like through and through. Like I could tell you left, right, and backwards like what Pokemon does in the video game, but when it comes to the card space, like there's not a chance that I could have like predicted that a level 30 Badoo is like the freaking like
The
destroyer
best
of
thing.
worlds.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
like like it's crazy. So, but it's been fun. It's been fun to like
It's
learn something
crazy.
new about Pokemon.
Logan, I'm sure
It's
you've
a
heard some of the. I'm sure you've heard some of the crazy stuff lately. The reason it's gone kind of
yeah.
viral again is because there's a set that came out not too long ago called Prismatic Evolutions, and it's really
Yeah.
popular because there's a bunch of chase cards that are all the evolutions, and of course that's
Yeah.
gonna
Mhm.
draw in all the
It got
casual
nuts.
people, all the
Oh,
all the
yeah.
actual diehard fans as well. But just so you're aware, I'm looking at it right now. There are, if I'm counting correctly, it looks like there's 17-ish cards right now that are all $100 or more raw.
Yeah.
And
That's
then if you're talking
insane.
all the evolutions are at least $300 or more, and then the Umbreon one is still
My
is the Umbreon one
gosh.
still like 1,500?
Yeah, it's still 1,500, and then the second one is Sylveon,
Is the
which I
Sylveon,
think is
right?
like
Oh, there
I
it is.
think
Yeah,
it's
I'm seeing
around
it now.
500 or something like that.
Yeah, 500. Yeah, I'm seeing this now.
And then the only other ones that I've opened personally for myself has been the Flareon, but
Nice.
through the stream and through the shop and stuff, I think I've opened about just every single evolution except for the Umbreon. That one still evades me.
It's
I
crazy,
still
man.
can't find it.
Wow.
Insane.
And we tallied it up yesterday. We tallied it up, I think, 2 days ago, like how many packs we've opened through the shop and the stream, and it's around 1,200, and we we haven't seen the
The
Umbreon.
Umbreon. That's
Yeah.
insane, man.
That's crazy.
Anyways, yeah. So look, I wanted to say that because that's like the reason. That's what's going on. So sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah, it's bonkers right now because the card space is super fun. It's kind of getting that revamp and that not I don't know if revamp's the right word, but that reinitiation with the love because of Pocket too.
That's
Pocket's
true.
kind of come
That's a big
out
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and kind of bringing people back to that space because I mean I with you and I still would like to get to know it more because we've had people on who play TCG for professionally and just we've had people who collect all these things and it's such a fun space to be part of and the art I like it breaks
Mhm.
not breaks my heart but like it just brings me into another world like an immersion of another way
Yeah.
to love Pokemon that I don't know if I ever really truly appreciated as a kid or at
Yeah.
least like nostalgically bringing me back to that point. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like,
And
how many times do you see like a cool fan art of a Pokemon, and you're
Oh
just
yeah.
like,
Oh
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's so cool, I love that. It's just the same way with cards.
It's the
You
same
see
thing.
like
Yeah.
a really cool art of like a Pokemon that you like, you're like, oh wow, that is so cool. I want that in like a poster.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yep.
just it's kind of that same thing, you know. And like Pokemon cards seem like they always kind of do an up and down thing throughout the years. Right now, it's just like exploding. We'll see if that keeps happening, but
Right. Right.
yeah, it's been cool. It's been fun. It's been
Love it, man.
frustrating as well. I've wanted to fight some people before, but I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not the fighting type. I'm more just will like yell out my window as I drive by.
Why I
card,
oughta
card
take
Yeah.
a
paper
fist at 'em,
snooze
yeah.
would like to battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, if I could stop this car, you'd be in a lot of trouble. And then I just keep driving.
And then you go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I was watching. I was just catching up on some of your guys' shorts and things like that, and I
Uh-huh.
was I was there was that one that I found where somebody got like 2 of the prismatic Sylveon,
Oh
like
yeah.
in a row. That was
Yeah, yeah.
bonkers.
That's insane,
And
man.
then I also loved your guys' shout out for Thurman. Hit
Oh yeah.
the Thurman song was
Thurman
great.
song.
We'll have to play that right here in the edit back. It was so
He's so
good.
freaking man. I know. Yeah, it's so
But
crazy.
it seems like a lot of fun, and the community in this space is also super cool. Just like it seems it's like one of those special bonding experiences that humankind can have, where it doesn't have to be me versus you. We could all be in this together, just
Together.
enjoying Pokemon cards. You know?
And that's what's fun about it is like opening up cards by yourself is obviously a lot of fun. But being able to open up cards on stream with like a whole community to like all freak out when you get a big card, like that
So
also
fun.
like has its own thing to it.
It's so fun.
I
Yeah.
definitely like see both sides of like, oh, I like to open it up by myself or I like to open it up on streams. I think both are like totally valid. It's just kind of depending on what's like you're looking for. But like I
Yeah.
love being able to open up a big card, freak out in the stream room,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
crazy, chat goes nuts. Like it's fun.
Well, it's kind of fun because you freak out for that person too, the one
Yeah.
who got the card.
I know,
You're
like I
"This
don't even
crazy.
get to keep it, you know?
Yeah, it's
Like,
not mine. Yeah.
yeah. I just like it's just
Uh.
like I got to open it, I got to see it, hold it in my hands, and like yeah, we freak out for the person that got it. It's we're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's crazy!
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
That's so fun. Oh, that's great. Kind of switching back into your regular bread and butter here. We
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
talk, kind of get into VGC and where it's been, where it's at right now, and where it's going. It's kind of been an interesting, I can't remember when Worlds was, but it's been at least 5 months, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, Worlds is in August every year.
That's right.
So
That's
yeah.
right.
So it's been a couple months.
Couple months, and we had kind of an interesting history with it where we went into it was Worlds Regulation G, right? And then after that we went into Regulation H, and now we're back at G again. And I kind of wanted to get your insights, kind of like what you thought about Worlds, what you thought about Regulation G, and kind of where you're at today with the meta and everything.
So I thought it was interesting that we did Worlds with Regulation G, and then we went back to it instead of doing dual restricted. I think everybody thought that dual restricted would be next. So when we went back, when we heard we were going to go back to G, we were all kind of like, "Ah, man!" Like, like,
Yeah.
personally, restricted formats for me aren't that fun in the first place. And with single restricteds, it feels like it exuberates the rock paper scissors aspect of the game. Where
Yes.
I mean, your legendary is really good until you run into the legendary that just totally beats yours.
Right.
Like, oh yeah,
Yep.
Counteract Shadow Rider's sick until you run into Terapagos, or
Yep.
something, or like Zacian that has wide guard on, it's just like one of those things. It really exuberates that. And if you have dual restricteds, you can kind of like work your way around it. And I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people in there saying I'm wrong. You're wrong. I'm not wrong.
I'm right.
It's all
Love it.
ones and zeros, people.
Yeah, obviously you can build teams around to try to help, but like, for example, like I built a Calyrex Ice Rider team
Nice.
that was really good against everything except Zacian.
Yeah, Zacian will counter that.
And everything that I Zacian and Zamazenta too. So Zacian's like 1%. Zacian was like 5% usage at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? Whatever. It's just a Zamazenta. Not a big deal. But it's just if I ran into it, I couldn't win because it just beat my restricted. It had every tool to beat my team. And so it's just saying, but if I could have some sort of other restricted to try to combat that, then that becomes a little bit better. So
yeah,
Worlds I thought was really cool. That team has kind of stayed the same since then. And it has had a little bit of some updating by other players. And it still has won a major tournament just recently. So it's not like it won Worlds and then that archetype just kind of went out the window, didn't do anything. It's constantly top cutting. It's constantly getting good placements. It's won regional just recently. So it's still like super, super good. So after we, because we already played this format for several months, and going back to it, we pretty much just picked up where we left off, which isn't totally unnew to me because I'm used to playing a format for a year or more. Because usually how it used to work back in the day was a new game would come out, you'd play a whole year in just regional dex format, Pokemon that you can get in the game.
In the game, yeah.
And next year would be national dex, open it up to Pokemon Home, the whole thing, and then the year after that would be restricted, and then we'd go to the new game. So I'm used to playing formats kind of like that, where they've pretty much been solved or they've highly developed, and then as it goes, you try to figure out how you can be creative and catch things off guard. So it wasn't too much of a big jump back for me. I just picked up where I left off with like the teams that I was playing. And the only thing you really had to update was like for the teams that did well at Worlds, which were still fairly standard.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big deal. And the meta right now, it seems like the people that are doing well are either really, really, really good at using like that standard format, like the Miraidon team that won, or they're throwing out some wacky stuff like Wolf won, Wolf Glick. For those of you that don't know, greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
Absolute unreal to us mere mortals that try to play this game.
He goes out of his way to do like crazy stuff to try and make it hard for himself.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's so easy for him that he just is like, whatever, I haven't used this in a while. I think it would be
Let's
fun.
try
I'm
it
going to
out.
use it. So he used Perish Song, which is his favorite team archetype, and he won the whole
Yep.
thing. He won the whole thing with Perish Song,
It's insane.
which is crazy. And what's even crazier is he's undefeated. He has a 100% tournament win record with Perish Song.
That's insane.
And
I didn't know that.
anytime he's brought a Perish Song team to a tournament, he's won.
He's undefeated. That's insane,
Yeah.
man.
So that's crazy. So that's kind of nuts. And then Lunala, which is pretty much been written out of existence because of Pokemon like Incineroar, Urshifu, Single Strike, Calyrex,
Mhm.
Shadow Rider.
Yeah.
Like all these things that beat it. It ended up winning a tournament.
That's
so-
crazy to me.
I've been seeing a couple of those guys hopping back in, and even just some unexpected ones that are have crept its way. Like I remember at Worlds there was an Altaria team that actually kind of did fairly well.
Yeah.
I saw recently there's like a Choice Specs Groudon team with Jump Bluff that's doing stuff.
I think they're trying to build off of Joe UX9's Typhlosion team, kind of do a similar
A similar
type
thing,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so it's not like totally formed yet. Like you said, like it's pretty advanced, but they're still figuring out stuff, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, and it seems like it kind of does this cycle where, and the thing is I think a lot of players haven't experienced this before because unless they've played in the last 10 years, they haven't had a format where they play it the whole year. But
Mhm.
it's always like new format comes out, everyone scrambles to like innovate and see what's going to be good. Teams start to separate themselves as consistent and popular in the metagame, and then those hold on for like a good chunk of the format. And then as we get into the later end of the format, people start creating again. All right, how can I counter this meta? How can I bring something new? What's going to be the call? And then we start to get into like this creative thing again where people start trying to like modify the metagame and countering it, and that leads to a whole new set of things that everyone's got to try to figure out again. So I think we're in there. We're Perish Song, Lunala, and then Hard Trick Room 1, and it's like, so I think people are starting to like think about like, oh, if I want to try to win in this format, I either have to be the best at this meta game, this really consistent standard team, or I got to innovate a little bit, get a little bit off the beaten path.
So, and remind me, if I remember correctly, Worlds Regulation G didn't have access to the final DLC mons, right? Because that's kind of what Regulation H did. It brought in all the DLC mons, but legendaries. Is that right? Because I remember Sneasler being a big impact in Regulation H, and now since that's but now it's in this new Regulation G format, it's viable still in that. Is that correct, or am I wrong there?
So to my memory, we did have access to those Pokemon. They just weren't good.
Okay.
And then in Regulation H, we switched to no legendaries at all.
Yeah.
No Urshifu, no Landorus, it was just
no Paradox either.
Yeah,
if I
no
remember.
Paradox. Yeah. Oh, what a great format that was! Such a good format. Love that format. I love the low power formats because I feel like that just like lets so many other Pokemon shine. Like I just get so annoyed and just so bored by all these just I'm just gonna punch you in the head and you're gonna die. Like
with the same old stuff.
Yeah,
I know.
I hate that crap. Like
I know, man.
I love these I love regional dex formats. It just has like the old little weak puny Pokemon. It's cool to see them. You can get more creative. You can do more weird stuff in those formats.
For sure.
And then once you get into like national decks and stuff, it's like, oh, you gotta use like.
I'm just like looking at like just usage from the international championship in Europe, and it's just like slight variations of like the same.
Yeah, the same.
Like 20
thing.
Pokemon. Yeah,
I know, and it's like that in itself has the nuances of like sets and moves and
and
and blah blah
I get
blah.
there's some
which is great. Everybody can play the same Pokemon differently. But I don't know. The regional formats, you go look at the usage stats and the tournament teams in those formats like Regulation H. There's some weird stuff in there that did really good. And I just think that's so fun.
Let's see. I was going to pull up.
So Reg H came around. We didn't have all those things. Sneasler dominated, and then we went back to legendaries and it's disappeared.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if it was like making because I remember
No.
seeing at the beginning of H it was joining some teams, but it wasn't staying on there for then. Okay,
Yeah, it
I couldn't
became
remember.
totally standard like about 3 weeks into that format.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
that Wolf's team was the Koraidon, Screamtail, with Paris song. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Screamtail, Fluttermane, Gothitelle, Amoonguss, and Incineroar.
Which is so crazy because like Koraidon, I think only Wolf could see the value in that Pokemon. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
that's
know,
another
right?
thing where like he doesn't comprehend the game the same way as us mere mortals do, because anybody else that has tried to make that work has totally failed.
Totally failed.
But he made like this really crazy good core of 4 Pokemon that could beat almost anything, and he was just like, let's throw Parasong on there because I like it, and it's
Yeah.
like, it's like I think everybody's played that quite a bit, and I think anybody can use that, but I still think you got to have a brain like Wolves to really take it deep.
So
Yeah.
he is his first Koraidon, he Life Orb, Protect, Flare Blitz, Close Combat, and Flame Charge. So I
Yeah,
mean, like nothing
no,
like
and
crazy. It's just a Koraidon, yeah.
like it's a Koraidon, and then the innovation was the Life Orb, because usually
The
it's
Life Orb,
Clear
right?
Amulet, because everyone and their mom has Incineroar on their
Incineroar for
team.
Intimidate, yeah.
And so you're like, oh well, I don't want my Koraidon to just get instantly neutered by this Intimidate, so I'm going to do Clear Amulet. And Wolf
Yeah.
just said, oh, screw that, I don't care. He's like, it's
I'll
not going to
just-
matter. I'm just still going to win anyway because I'm better than you. And so
It's
he threw on
crazy, man.
Life Orb because that let him get like a ton of KOs that he couldn't get otherwise.
Right.
Yep.
And I guess even when you're intimidated, you can still OHKO Incineroar with Close Combat, which is really saying something. Not a lot of Pokemon can do that.
That's insane.
And Flare Blitz with Terrifiers is really strong. Flame Charge for really good speed control options. That team can be hard to play because your only speed control options are Flame Charge and Icy Wind.
Yeah.
You don't even have Trick Room on your Gothitelle or anything. So when I played that team, because obviously whenever a team wins, you want to like play it, see what it
What it can do.
what's good against it, how does it perform, give you an idea of what to do if you run against it. And I felt like I really struggled against Tailwind teams, like with Tornadus,
Yeah.
because they usually have Covert Cloak, so Icy Wind doesn't even slow them down. Especially, and then if they have like a Kyogre, so they just like Tailwind, Protect, Water Spout the next turn,
And you're
Bleakwind
dead.
Storm, and you're just dead. Like, like there's nothing you can really do. Like even at +1, you're still not outspeeding Kyogre and Tailwind.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
crazy.
I know there's like a lot of pivoting with like Parting Shot and U-turn or Volt Switch, but I didn't get to see with Gothitelle with Shadow Tag, did that bug anyone? Because I feel like that would just be kind of annoying to play against if you don't have the right leads, or if Gothitelle comes out at the wrong time. I think Shadow Tag could be
Oh,
kind of annoying.
Shadow Tag, especially on a Pokemon with Fake Out, is so strong.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just you gotta have such good understanding of your board positioning and like how
Yeah.
you're gonna use that, because otherwise Gothitelle doesn't do anything.
No, I mean I'm just looking at it's Protect, Psychic, Fake Out, and Taunt,
Yeah,
and I'm
like
just like
it doesn't threaten anything. Yeah,
mm,
you can chip with it,
it's
but
just
it
pretty
doesn't.
passive though. Yeah.
It's just so passive. So it's like you gotta have like a really good idea of what you're doing. You can't just bring it to whatever you want and just like keep people locked in,
Yeah.
because it's really like, because they're either just gonna knock it out or be like, I don't care if I'm stuck on here. I'm just gonna focus the
Yeah.
partner. So you gotta be smart with it. And there's only a few times that you really want to bring Gothitelle. And it has to have a specific strategy. In
For
this
sure.
case, it was for Parrish Song on Wolf's team. And he even has said in team reports and stuff, he's like, those last 2 Pokemon, Gothitelle and
Screamtail.
like he's like, change those to whatever you want. He's like, I just put
Yeah.
those on there because I couldn't figure out how to reliably beat Calyrex Ice Rider in Trick Room, and he's like, that's how I figured out how to do it. He's like, those 2 Pokemon can be switched out with whatever you want.
Whatever.
I also
So
got
it's
to
like,
shout out Dylan in that game where
yeah,
they played up against each other, right? And
yeah.
Dylan, like it was close. I remember watching it,
Oh,
not sure, and
it was really close. I thought for sure Wolf was gonna lose, because
yeah,
like Dill really worked Wolf
Yeah.
in one of those games, and I was like, oh shoot,
It
he's
seems
getting
crazy
smoked.
too.
Wolf's getting smoked right now, and like just so, but like also so much pressure on Dill. Like
Oh,
you come
100%.
you come out on that stage, and everyone is like, "Let's go, Dill!"
I'd be crapping
Like
bricks, man. No
everything,
way.
and you got to go up against Wolf Glick, like Wonder
Yeah.
Child, and he's like
And that was
like crazy.
if I remember, if that was their like one of their first like regionals, right? Because they're pretty new like to
Yeah,
the
from
scene. Is that right?
I've never seen them before, so as far as I know, yeah, that's like one of their first few regionals, if not like their first, definitely their first like performance where they made it that far or have gone that deep in a tournament. Because I've never
That's
seen them.
impressive.
I've never seen them before, so that's pretty nuts.
I
Like the pressure is crazy. Like, and to be that close and especially hold your own that well against Wolf, like says the whole
Mhm.
thing. I would love to play Wolf in a tournament because I know I'd
So
lose,
cool.
but it would
So
be
there's no
cool.
pressure.
Yeah, like I know I'd lose. Yeah, like there's no like I know I'd lose. He'd kick my butt, dude. I'd see Wolf and I'd sign the slip and I'd say, all right, sweet, like have a good day. But it would be cool to see like where you stack up.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Like, was I able to take a game off of him at least? You know, did I
Mhm.
make it close? Like, because then you can
It'd be
really
so
kind of.
cool.
The fun thing about going to tournaments and playing really well-known players is you get to kind of measure like, all right, where am I standing right now against
Yeah.
Mhm.
this player who is regarded as one of the best in the country?
For sure.
You know, and then you can kind of see like where you can improve, and it's like you can really take like a self-assessment on like, oh man, like their positioning was way better than mine. They just had like much better lead positions, or like they were making predictions like super crazy. And it's really like I like playing against top players. Like I feel like I go in confident that I can beat anybody, but I just know that if I'm going against a good player, there's a very high chance I'll lose,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that because I want to see where I stack.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm curious. That kind of gives us a good pivot point to talking about your San Antonio run
Oh
recently.
man, San Antonio, holy crap. What a tournament that was. Well, first off, Kevin, if you're watching this, I can't believe you forgot to get the rental car in the right city. Like we fly into the airport and we're like, all right, Kev, where's the rental car? And he's like, guys, I totally screwed up. He's like, because we flew into like Austin and we had to get to San Antonio, and he set the rental car to be picked up in San Antonio. So we had no way to freaking get there.
That's
So we take
hilarious,
like
man.
3 hours trying to figure out what we're gonna do, how we're gonna get to San Antonio. Finally, we're just like, all right, let's get an Uber because nothing else was working. So we pay like $150 to get an Uber, take us all the way to San Antonio. We pick up the rental car, and then guess how far away the place we were staying was?
How far
An
away
hour?
is it?
Like 3 blocks away.
No way.
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious, man.
So we picked up this rental car to drive 3 blocks to where we were staying, and like it's just like, oh man, what a mess that
so-
day was.
Who was it? Who was it? Who messed it up?
Kevin.
Is Kevin?
His brother
Yeah,
Kevin.
my
Yeah.
little brother Kevin.
That's funny.
As it made for a good story, and I think we were all just like, wow. I think we
Whatever,
were all
man.
just like, it is an experience, you know. I
Yeah,
don't think any
yeah.
of us were like really like miffed or anything. It was just like, oh my gosh, of course this would happen to us.
So
that's
I want to ask
amazing.
you, give us a breakdown of your team. So we have
Oh
we have
man.
Urshifu, Torkoal, Smeargle, Indeedee, Calyrex, Ice Rider, and Farigiraf.
Yeah, so I went for a hard trick room team this time.
Okay.
Now I don't usually do hard trick room. It's not something that I have like really tried to master. Like it just felt like when I was experimenting with different archetypes in this format,
Mhm.
this one felt the most comfortable.
Okay.
Which the biggest rule in all of VGC, out of everything else, meta teams, calls, whatever, is to play a team that you're the most comfortable with, even if like you feel like it doesn't have like the best chance going into the meta game, because you'll always do better with the team that you know inside and out than something that you just picked up.
For sure.
So I did all this testing with different archetypes, and this one felt the most comfortable. So I was like, oh, okay, we're just going to lean into Trick Room, and we're going to see how far we can go. And this is the team that I was talking about, where I was like, as long as I don't run into Zamazenta with Pelipper, specifically Zamazenta and Pelipper, I can win. I've beat every other legendary, every other team.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones that like I have like a 80-20 with is Zamazenta with Pelipper.
With Pelipper, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 4 rounds in a row, I played Zamazenta Pelipper.
No
Bless
way,
you.
man. Oh, that's brutal, man.
And I was like laughing too. I was like going to all my friends, going to all my Discords. Hey, what's the word on Zamazenta Pelipper? What's the thing with that? Like, oh, it's falling off. It's not showing up. Like, people are using other variants of it now. It's like, I think you'll be good. Like, it's just not popular anymore. All right, sick. And then I ran into 4 of them.
You went so
The last
funny.
4 playing it, right?
Yeah, and that's what I think. And I don't. And I asked everybody else, "Hey, you play any Zamazenta?" No, I didn't see one. Hey, you play any Zamazenta? I didn't. I only played one today. Was it Pelipper? No. Did you play any Zamazenta? Nope, didn't play any.
And
I guess the only 4 people in the entire tournament playing Zamazenta played me 4 rounds in a row.
I'm looking at the usage right now. Pelipper was only a 5.3% usage in the entire tournament.
The entire tournament. And
Yeah.
I ran into 4.9% of those Pelippers.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy, man. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Isn't that crazy? And so, and you know, on the flip side of that, Connor, he was like, I don't know what team to use, Preston. Can I just use your team? And I said, yeah, sure. So I got him I trained him a copy of my team.
Yeah.
And he brought it, and he made day 2.
Yeah, he was top 100,
great.
right?
Yeah, he was top 100.
Yeah, he did good. I'm just looking at it now.
I asked him, I said, hey, did you play any Zamazenta? And he said, no.
Wow.
There you go.
You know? And so that's just
crazy.
And this was Connor and Kevin's first tournament. And so I kind of pulled him aside and I said, hey, look, guys, all right. I was like, you played your teams, you've practiced, you thought about it. I said, all that stuff is great. I said, the biggest decider about how far you're going to go in a tournament is all dependent on your matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
that's really interesting.
It doesn't matter what you did up until now. It's all going to depend on who you get paired with for the next 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I probably labbed this team for about a month, and I studied the metagame, and I made spreadsheets. I did probably 3,000 games of practice and best of 3s, and I was ready to go. I know this team like the back of my hand. And I just happened to get paired with the only 4 people in the whole tournament running the auto loss.
Man,
that's crazy.
And so I was out. I was out in 4 rounds because I ran into the same thing that could beat my team every time. But everybody else, Connor, he didn't run into it, and he made
day 2. So I'm curious. I know you said like it's small chance you can break through that team. If so, like let's say it's you go up against someone. Zamazenta and Pelipper come out. What in your mind you're like, okay, what's the possible workaround to maybe get out of this? Like, what is the strat with the team?
So the strat with the team is obviously it's a trick room team.
Yeah,
so my first goal is to set up trick room, take a KO. I need to take away their ability to switch Pelipper in and out. Because I need to be able to have the weather control. If I can get Pelipper in the sun with control, I can eruption and weather ball the whole team to death.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like my main goal. And so it kind of depends on if they have Qian Power or not, if they have Ice Spinner. But if they don't, it's usually somewhere along the lines of like Smeargle, Calyrex, or Smeargle for Farigiraf. And I try to set up Trick Room, and then I go into either Sporing or just going straight for KOs, like Decorating. But the main goal is set up Trick Room, try to pick up a KO. Because if I can pick up 1 KO and try to take a lead there, they're going to have less opportunity to switch. Because if they switch in like a Pelipper, and then I can bring in my Torkoal, I know I have weather control. I know I can take control there. But if I like have Torkoal and they don't have Torkoal on the field yet, I 99.9% know that they're going to switch in Pelipper here to try to weaken my weather. So that also gives me basically I know what you're going to do and I can plan for it. So that gives me better reads of how I can approach the rest of the mid to end game. But if they have like all 4 Pokemon, then they have like all this real estate they can work with. But if I can get Trick Room up, pick up a KO, their game plan becomes a lot more simpler for me.
Yeah,
and I can take it. It's just so hard because it says the Pelipper has Wide Guard, the Zamazenta has Wide Guard, the Pelipper takes my weather away. They can just stall out my Trick Room, and I can't just OHKO the Zamazenta without my son. If they tear a dragon or something, then I'm also out of luck. So super,
Yeah.
super hard. It's
Mhm.
definitely like not unwinnable, but like my opponent could close his eyes and just click buttons and probably beat me.
It's just one of those
It's-
matchups. Yeah.
it's just so bad.
Jeez.
And I felt okay about it. I think you have to make a call eventually of like what you're okay not having the best matchup against, and I could beat literally anything else. Zamazenta without Pelipper, I can beat. I know I can do that. But Zamazenta with Pelipper, I can't. But everything else, I could beat. And so I was like, you know what? Pelipper's fallen off. The archetype's fallen off. They're changing their usages. They're not really pairing them together anymore. I think I'm okay. Pelipper's really low down there, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen one on the ladder in like 3 weeks.
A hot second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I think I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay with this. I don't think I'll run into any. I think we'll be fine. I definitely expected to run into Zamazenta, just not Zamazenta Pelipper. But then I ended up running into like everybody that was using it.
Yeah. Let's see.
So it's just one of those things. That's the biggest thing about tournaments. Like anybody, if you're planning to go to a tournament and you're preparing really hard, like that'll help you in the long run, obviously, because you'll have a better understanding of your team and how you can play. But if you just get paired up against things that you just like can't beat, or just like crazy, insanely good players that are just gonna stomp you, there's really nothing you can do about that. The biggest factor in how deep you're gonna go is who you're getting paired with. Like the matchup roulette is 90% of your run.
Is that just completely random, or how does that get decided? Do you know?
It's completely random. They basically just like throw you at like round 1 is just a free for all.
Yeah.
Whoever
Yeah.
you're getting matched up with. And then depending on if you win or lose, you get paired with a winner, you get paired with a loser. And it's just random. Whoever wins their match, whoever loses their match, that's who you're getting paired with.
Right.
Round
Right.
one, I won. Boom. I made it. Round 2, Zamazenta Pelipper, I lost. Round 3, Zamazenta Pelipper, I lost. Round 4, I lost. It's like,
So were they all Zamazenta Pelipper teams?
yeah, they were all Zamazenta
No,
Pelipper
okay, because
teams.
I'm looking at it right now. So there were 32 total teams that had a Pelipper on it, and I don't think there's a way to filter for multiple Pokemon, but I'm seeing like only 5 or 6 that had Zamazenta and Pelipper. That's insanely bad luck. That's crazy.
I know. Like I got paired up with all of them.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
Who's the highest?
I know.
So I'm curious that at that point, like when you have just because sometimes it'll happen, and that most likely will happen to everybody who goes to a tournament. There's just gonna be a bad matchup, maybe 1 or 2 in a row, or things like that.
Yeah.
Like what do you do to like in that point to continue to enjoy the tournament, or how do you shift your focus, like to continue to enjoy that time, or at least use that time to your advantage? Like what do you do there?
So it can be really hard, especially if you like are putting a lot of like effort and emotional emotional energy into the tournament, and like you prepared really hard and you're going in with like a lot of confidence. And I mean, everybody goes in, walks through those tournament doors, those venue doors, and they imagine themselves like holding up the trophy. Like everybody does that. I don't think there are many people that go to these tournaments that don't envisioning themselves up on main stage winning the whole thing. So as you lose and that starts to fade and like your dreams just start to get crushed, it can be hard. It can be hard to like stay positive and like want to keep going. And a lot of the time people drop, which I think is totally fine. Like drop if you're just like totally not feeling it anymore and like you're just totally beat down. By all means, drop from the tournament if you're already knocked out of contention for day 2, and go and like enjoy the city you're in. I think that's a lot of people do that. Like Worlds this year, for example, will be in Anaheim. You can better believe that people that don't make day 2 at Worlds are dropping from the tournament and hitting Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me that you'd rather stay in the venue and play Pokemon than go hit freaking Space Mountain.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna stay and do that, And we were in San Antonio.
Tails, man.
I know. And like we're in San Antonio, which is a crazy historical city. The Alamo is there.
Oh yeah.
They got this, and just right next to the venue was the Riverwalk, which is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like this big, long river that has like shops and restaurants along the whole thing. It like runs through the underside of the city. They do river tours. Dude, hit that stuff up. Go hit that
That's
stuff
fun.
up. Go have fun. And I post one of my very first YouTube videos I posted on my YouTube channel was talking about a tournament where I had recently won the Utah Regional, and I went to this tournament and I totally got beat out by and I felt like I played horribly, and I had stayed up like so many days trying to figure out how to play this team, and I thought I'd find something really good, and I thought I was confident in it, and then like I did really bad, and I had like it like really soured the tournament for me,
Mhm.
until I kind of was like, bro, like what am I doing? I was like, I'm here with my friends, I'm here because I love Pokemon. I'm here to have a good time. Like I have all this pressure on me because I had just won a regional that everyone thought I shouldn't have won. Um, so I wanted to do well to prove them wrong, and then I lost like really badly,
Mhm.
and so it just kind of became like I kind of made it a rule for myself that I'm going to these tournaments, of course, wanting to win, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my trip if it doesn't. And so I always go with friends. I always go with a friend, and we always hang out. And if they're doing great, then like I'll play the tournament as long as my other friends are. Like if everybody's
Yeah.
knocked out and we're just like, hey, you guys want to go do something different? We'll just drop and we'll just hit something else in the city. We'll go get an early dinner,
Yeah, there you go.
and
Yeah.
head back to the hotel and hit the pool
And
or
chill.
something.
Yeah.
But like if I have a buddy who's like he's still in contention, I'll play every round, dude. I'll be there all day long until he gets knocked out or makes day 2 because I want to be there and have
And
fun with my
support him.
friends.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
So that's like the biggest thing for you guys is go in, absolutely go in hoping, expecting to win, but like don't let it like ruin like everything about the rest of your trip.
The trip, yeah.
Realize that like you're gonna have friends there, you're gonna have cool sights you can see that, if Pokemon just isn't worth it for you anymore and you're just really like brokenhearted on it, that you can go do something else. And I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because what happened was with Connor and Kevin is they actually made it farther than I did. So, and we were filming a video. So what I did was I just dropped out of the tournament and then I filmed them.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
So
smart.
you
You know,
actually have the footage of their plays and everything like that.
yeah. So like we have footage of like them playing games. Like Kevin ended up playing against Aaron Trailer, who is
Oh
like
wow,
an
yeah.
incredibly good Pokemon player.
Yeah.
So I got to film him playing Aaron Trailer, and I got to film Connor making day 2, and then I had a blast doing that. And I just got to sit there and I got to watch them play their games, and then dap them up, give them a high five,
Yeah.
knuckles every time they won, dude. And Connor would come to me for advice. Preston, what do I do if they're doing this? Like, how do I? And I'd be like, all right, Con, here's what you do. Like, so basically, I got to proxy play with Connor because he was making it farther than me. He wasn't running into the Zamazenta Pelipers. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, here's what you do, Connor. Trick Room, Healing Wish, let it die, bring in Torkoal, blow him up.
And you're good.
And he's like, okay. And then he'll come back. He's like, I did what you said and I won. I'm
I
like,
clicked the
perfect.
buttons. I clicked the button.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I'm
Oh
like,
man.
perfect. That's great. Game plan,
That's
baby.
so cool.
Or like he'd be like, hey, I just lost to this. What would you have done? I'm like, then we lab it a little bit so that if he runs into something similar the next round, he has an idea.
Yeah.
So I had another goal there. We were making a video, and I was like, you know what? I'll film so we can get some of us playing because we didn't have any footage of any of us playing. So I just dropped and I filmed the rest of the day, and
That's
that was
awesome.
totally
I kind
cool
of
with
feel
me.
like that's such a sad lost part of the tournaments is the ground floor. Like we get the top, we get the screen time with the big boys all the time, but I really think I wish they had more of that where they would film the ground level a little bit
The
more
ground
so we could
level,
see how
the little
people
guys,
are
The little
the little
guys.
guys, or at
the
least
little guys.
those who are making their way through, so we can see what they're doing, what they're feeling, how it's going. Because I think that's the heart and soul of it, right? Like they're the
Right.
ones sitting there, let's go Dill, right? They're the ones,
Yeah.
and so and everyone, like you said, came with that dream, and so it's kind of fun to it. Because I don't know, I wish Pokemon would do something like that where we got to see a little bit more of that,
Yeah. And I do like that every now and then, like for the bigger tournaments, they do like ground floor interviews sometimes. Like
Yeah.
they'll interview people about, hey, is this your first tournament? How's it going? And things like that. But I also think it's really cool because I wish there were more content creators that would also like show the ground floor, which is why I really wanted to like film the rest of the day. Is because there really isn't a lot of people that do like vlogs or
Right.
inside looks at like what actually it's like being at a Pokemon tournament. So like you don't really actually see the venue and how big it is. You don't see like the card vendors and the shops and all the people that are there playing. And so I really like those vlogs, like world vlogs or regional vlogs or national vlogs, because it's just kind of fun to see everybody else's other experience. So that's kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to like make a vlog of the trip. It's their first tournament. Connor ended up making day 2, which was awesome.
That's
I knew
crazy for your first time.
I knew the team. I mean, I won my first tournament, so it's whatever. But he made
Well,
day
I
2.
mean,
That's
but
pretty cool. So it's like, but it's like I knew this team was good, and so I was like, I'm glad Connor gave it like a respectable finish, because I was like, this team is actually really like, one, it's easy to pilot, which is important, I think, and it's strong, and so Connor was able to not. I took the bullet for all the Zamazenta developers and
So
all
he
that
could
stuff,
go onward, yeah.
so that he could go onward and make day 2, because I knew that it could. So it was cool to see him make that, especially for his first tournament. I think that also gave him like a ton of confidence, and like just like feels good that, hey, maybe I'm not so bad at this. I made day 2, my first try. Like that's really lucky, but also like that was a lot of me as well. Of I made good plays and I played smart, and I was able to work together, and so I think that was really cool. So it was fun.
That's
It was a
great,
fun
man.
trip. And so we did that, and we made a big video about it. But it was fun. I got knocked out crazy quick. I played everybody in the tournament who was using a Pelipper. And what are you gonna do? I literally was like being fed my own medicine, my own advice of like, hey, how deep you're gonna run depends on who you play. And I literally
That's exactly how it
that.
happened, yeah.
Yeah, like I proved that right then and there, that I ran into people that are just going to beat me right out. I wasn't going to make it. And Connor was able to play people that he could outmaneuver and get farther. And I mean, like, it's just how it is.
That's what
It's just
happens.
the biggest thing in a tournament, guys. Anybody that goes to a tournament, just know that all your preparation doesn't matter. Just kidding. It does.
Just show up with whatever you want.
Yeah, it does matter. You definitely want to prepare. But the matchup roulette plays about 90% in your regional run.
That's good. That's great to know. I like your advice there a lot. I'm curious, kind of looking into the future. We had most recently in this Pokemon Direct, Pokemon Champions was announced.
Oh, man.
We don't have a
I'm
ton
excited,
of
man.
information on that.
I'm so excited.
I'm pumped for
I'm
that, man.
Before we
so
wrap
excited.
up, I want to get your guys' insights on this and kind of to see, what do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be Showdown on the Switch? Is it going to be Pokemon Stadium? What are we looking at? What prospects does it have for competitive play in the future of Pokemon?
Obviously, everyone's first idea is like, this is Pokemon Showdown, but for real.
Yeah.
Like, this is Pokemon Showdown, but for real. This is gonna be sick. My first thought was Battle Revolution.
That's what I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that
it
was
looks
my
like
first
it too.
thought. Like Battle Revolution style, which was sick, by the way. I love Battle.
Such a good game,
love
man.
Battle Revolution.
So
much
good.
fun. That was like the first time that I actually could like battle people online. My parents were afraid that like if I battled people with my DS, they'd like find me and
they like track us down. Oh yeah,
track me down. So when I was finally able to like convince them to let me like put the Wi-Fi password on the Nintendo Wii so I could play online battles, especially on Battle Revolution, was so sick.
Oh yeah.
I loved Battle Revolution so much, and I always wanted another game like that. And I thought that when it came to the Switch, that's kind of what it would be like, some stadium-style Pokemon game. We never got it until now, which I guess we're getting some sort of version of that. It seems like my guess is, because this is all speculation, because we don't know how it's exactly going to work. My guess is you can do rental Pokemon, and you can modify those rental Pokemon, but they only can specifically stay in Champions.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you can bring, because it can connect to home, and you can bring in your own Pokemon to play with, and you can do the same thing. You can modify them however you want for battle, and then I think if you trade them back, it'll probably
just go revert.
Revert to
whatever it was,
0, or whatever. Because how it is like with Pokemon Home already is if you trade a Pokemon from like Sword and Shield into Scarlet and Violet, it resets all their moves. That's right. Because sometimes there are moves that you can't get in Scarlet and Violet or whatever that you can in Sword and Shield. I don't exactly know why, but it resets all their moves, and you got to reteach them all the moves that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it'll be something similar. It'll probably just reset stats and moves.
Makes sense.
and they'll be back to a normal Pokemon. But I think any modifications that you do in the game will just be kept in game. Now, whether
Yeah.
they have some sort of monetization for that, like you have to pay like some subscription, that's like, and I wouldn't expect it to be more than like $5, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, Pokemon Home has a subscription and it's like $30 a year. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I don't expect it to be like something crazy, but like I feel like they will monetize it in some way, and I don't think it'll be nuts. And I don't think, and I know some people will be like, I want it to be free, maybe there will be some sort of free thing, but I think they'll try to make some sort of money off of it in some sort of
Yeah.
subscription, whether that's even if that's just kind of like, oh, buy X amount of proteins, and for $10 you get 5,000 of them or something,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
use that to modify Pokemon. Something like that even could be will. But the biggest thing is that this makes Pokemon competitive battling like mainstream for everybody. Like there are so many Pokemon players that love Pokemon that don't even know what Showdown is. Like,
Yep.
hey, have you heard of Pokemon Showdown? And they're like, no, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's a battle simulator. And they're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You gotta go on like your web browser and you gotta type it in and whatever. And they're like, too much trouble. But like this is like,
you have no idea.
yeah, I know, like, and so, but now it's like going to be like an official app,
Yeah.
and they'll be more likely to download it, and this is going to like open up like a whole new demographic of people to VGC, which will be huge
Mhm.
Yes.
for the game and for the tournaments, because now it's going to make something that's super accessible in like an app and on your Switch, and like and there are Pokemon people out there that'll download any Pokemon app at least once. I know
Oh
I
yeah.
do.
Oh, I do.
I mean,
Yeah.
I downloaded like Cafe, I downloaded Masters, I downloaded Go, I downloaded TCG Pocket. Like I have Pokemon Sleep, just because it's like I love Pokemon. I'll check this out if I like it or whatever. Who
Yeah.
cares? And so there's gonna be people, they're gonna download it at least once just to check it out and see what it's all about. And I think that's good. I think the implications of like bringing a whole new group of people into this, I think that's gonna like improve. Like tournaments will be bigger. I think it'll improve prize pools, because I could see like monetization that they do with the app. Like I could see that like that helps subsidize prize pools, so we can have bigger prize
Yep.
pools, which would be
Mhm.
huge. I think something that would be fun is I see people said this a couple of times, that like they should do cosmetics, which I
Oh,
think would be so
yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Like oh, like, because like in like Unite, how you can buy little costumes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
I
man.
think they should totally do that. Like, dude, I want
That'd be sick.
I want my Calyrex wearing like a legit big old gold crown on the noggin, just hitting the astral radiance.
Oh
Just
yeah,
like,
man.
I think that'd be so sick. Just like you could buy little costumes for your Pokemon or something. I think that'd be awesome. I'll pay $10 for a little top hat to put on
Oh, for sure.
my Mimikyu or something. I don't know, whatever I want. Like I think that'd be awesome. So I think something like that would be really cool. But whatever they do with it, I think it'll just be nothing but positive for the battle space. And I think it'll have a similar effect as Pocket. A lot of people that didn't trade Pokemon cards before picked up Pocket, started
Yep.
trading cards, and then we're like, I kind of want to do this for real, and
Now
started
here we
getting
are.
real cards. Yeah. And so I think it'll be very similar to what we're seeing with Pocket. I think it'll have a huge influx. I think it'll really open it up to a lot of people. It's going to be very user friendly, because I think they're going to know that people that have never battled or trained or EV'd or IV'd or anything will be
Yeah.
participating. And so I think it'll be very user friendly, and I think it'll be very simplified, which I think will be important.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that it gives us customization in a showdown style, where you can train Pokemon quickly. And then this will definitely be used for tournaments going forward when it gets released.
Mm.
Yes.
Like I don't see a world where Pokemon Champions isn't the go-to tournament game
Yeah.
for live tournaments. I just don't think they're gonna.
Well, I don't know why they would do that and then not have that be the case.
Exactly.
Make the
And
game.
like with Legends ZA coming out and having a whole new battle structure,
Yeah, which is
I
gonna be
think
cool.
which will be cool, and I think that'll kind of be what they do going forward. If I'm being honest, I think they're gonna keep this like live battle aspect that they have in ZA going forward. And I think they're gonna leave the standard battles
Turn-based.
to champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll also be cool because that gives us cooler animations. That gives us better graphics. Like we could be in cool stadiums, like in
And Battle Revolution, man,
Battle Revolution.
the arenas were
Yeah,
insane,
Stadium.
The
man.
arenas were awesome. The
Oh,
arenas were
yeah.
so cool. My favorite was the Starlight.
Oh, like the neon, like at night and
The
everything.
Stargazer one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It had good
the
music too.
neon one. Yeah.
Crazy
It's
good
like
music on that one.
Yeah, they get all music. So good, dude.
Yeah.
One thing I am curious with Champions is if we're all I'm and I kind of like holding out for this. I don't think this will be a thing, but because it did show Mega Evolutions, and I know that's probably
Right.
more of a nod towards ZA. But one of the
Maybe.
things that I do love about Showdown is the preservation
Of
of old
formats.
formats.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of hope that Champions, like, even if it, because I don't think the professional scene will like allow for any further than the most latest game or anything like that. Like, I think the championships will be the most latest version of Pokemon, but I do think it'll be cool if there is a singles format, just like that isn't professional, like isn't
Or
Yeah.
you
tournament
can
style.
put on filters and say filter for like megas allowed or no megas
Right,
allowed or
right,
something like
right.
that.
Yeah. And I just, because I think that is such a special part of the Pokemon journey is seeing such different preservation. And that might just be because in Josh and I's draft league, every season we do a different meta. So we've played through so many different, forms of Pokemon that were, Gen 6 with megas and things of that nature. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's such a special time where, so I don't know, part of me hopes that can be the case. I don't know if it's going to be there.
Maybe.
But
yeah, I don't know either. I don't know how the singles, because even in the trailer they showed a double battle.
yeah,
no,
100%.
And so and I don't think it was I don't think it was a mistake that they showed Mega and Terra at the same time. And I get nervous with that because I don't want to have to be working around 4 different gimmicks.
Yeah.
I get that.
What do I do? What do I do if they because honestly, I think you'd be stupid to not just use Dynamax if you're gonna have to pick a gimmick.
100%.
Dynamax is easily
It's the most broken
busted,
one. Yeah.
out of control gimmick they ever created. Should have never existed. Unreal. It just dwarfs every other single one.
Yeah.
3 Z moves with side effects. It's just doubling it. It's unreal. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a horrible.
Wow, what were they
horrible.
thinking?
That was a horrible 3 years. So it's like, oh my gosh, so bad. And so I get nervous about that though. But it does open up the opportunity for them to really mix things up. Like, okay, guys, instead of always coming up with new ideas, they can rotate through the old ones. This year's going to be a Z move year. This year's, or we're going to do Z moves, and then in the next regulation we're going to switch over to megas.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
So it gives them an opportunity to kind of switch things up and use these old gimmicks because people love megas. And all right, okay, for the next regulation we're gonna do megas, and it's gonna run from May till August, and it's gonna be the Worlds format. This year's a Mega Worlds, and then after that we're gonna do Dynamax, and then nobody plays that one, and then after that they're gonna do Z moves, so it's so it does give them an opportunity to do that, and I think they showed them going together for a reason, Maybe you can pick one or the other. I hope that's not the case because I think that just would be. So there's already so much variance in Pokemon, especially with Dynamax and terrestrialization and all that. So I would just prefer it to be one or the other. But I think they showed both at the same time for a reason. So who knows? Maybe they'll do one where you can have a Mega and a Dynamax Pokemon and a Z. I keep saying Dynamax and a terrestrialized Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm hoping it's a little
more controlled.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that could get really out of hand.
Really chaotic.
I wouldn't look forward to playing that because it would just be too crazy. But I think it would be fun to be able to switch gimmicks every now and then.
Yeah, formats. That'd be really, really cool.
So yeah, but I think it's gonna be huge. I think it'll be really big, and I think it's huge for battles and for tournaments. I think it'll just be huge for competitive players and new players, just really introducing people to it. And so I'm super stoked on that. Super stoked.
Yeah, it was a great reveal trailer. The trailer, I mean, the song in that trailer was like
It's
Yeah,
really good, man.
legit.
It's really hype.
you know,
I felt like a kid again watching that. I
I
mean,
know.
there's few things like the Pokemon, like the trading card commercials that they put in those things are always phenomenal. And then that one was like it hyped me up, dude.
It's really
Well,
good.
I
So
mean, all I think about is I'm like, I was watching it and I was like showing like Michaela, and I was like, check this out, and she's like, what? And I was like, look at this, like this is like what would happen, like if I had friends, I would battle like this with a little cable
Yeah, yeah.
and whatever, and then like, oh, this like Nintendo DS, this is like when Logan stole my Jirachi, and like, oh, this is like,
exactly.
this is like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like Pokemon Stadium, like where we would just like play the mini games the whole time.
Oh, I love
I'm
that
like,
Yep.
stuff.
it's just crazy because it's like this little trailer of like, oh, the nostalgia. I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
lived all this.
Oh yeah, dude. It's
I'm
like
like,
this is
I'm
literally
like,
me. Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy that they're showing like old school Pokemon, and it's like, I was like, that was like the coolest thing when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, so it kind
What?
of hyped me up because I just envisioned myself at every stage of that, like
Same, man.
battling,
Oh yeah.
training with the link cable and with the little infrared thing that you could do with Fire Red Leaf Green,
Yep.
the little thing you put in there, and that way it could be wireless.
Dude.
The Wi-Fi adapter, yeah.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi adapter.
And speaking of, we were talking about it earlier. The best part of the trailer is they had a section where they showed Battle Revolution too, and I think
Yeah,
that wasn't a coincidence.
yeah. No, I don't think so either. I think them showing the
I was
stadium
like, they
games.
acknowledged it. They acknowledged the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think them showing the stadium games was huge because they
Yeah.
didn't have to do that.
No,
didn't
they
have
did
to show the
Stadium and
stadium
Battle
games.
Revolution. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have just showed like the DS games and the
Yep.
Switch games, but they made a point to show the stadium games, which I
Mhm.
think really kind of helps like support the fact that this will be a stadium battling game.
I agree. And I think
You'll be able to use rentals and your own Pokemon, and you'll be able to battle people. And I think it's gonna be huge, and I'm stoked for it.
and I think it's also a recognition on the fact that the three like even though the last couple of generations have been 3D, it hasn't been the same as like Revolution or
Right.
Stadium because the Pokemon I don't know, I'm really hoping that because they have this specific space, right? They can do a lot of energy and stuff like that on building out the games, but they don't have to worry about the battling as much
Right.
on that side.
Right.
But
Exactly.
here, that I'm hoping they can give the Pokemon personality, like Hitmonchan, or I can't remember who. It's Machamp, I think, in Stadium when he does Mega Kick and he just
Well,
does a total
Oh,
side
he did
kick.
a
where
total.
he gets kicked down, and he goes, "Ugh!" And then he like goes down. There's what's the other one? Is it like Snorlax where he's like,
Yep.
yeah, he like
Yeah.
It just
Oh
falls
yeah.
down.
it falls down, like
Jigglypuff deflates. Like
yeah,
I mean,
deflates. Yeah, and I know each Pokemon had like a really like specific like fainting thing.
It gave
and
them so
I
much
thought that was really
personality.
fun.
They had that
Yeah, it
in
did.
they had that in like Coliseum and Gale of Darkness as well in XD.
Uh-huh.
There were like some
Revolutions. You had
They had a
Murkrows,
lot
like
of
he had a hat tip
He had a
and then
hat
he'd
tip.
die.
I
Well,
remember
he'd like fall down on his back, and then he'd pick his head up and he'd tip it, and then he'd yeah.
So,
like
I remember
like, what?
like Nose Pass has like its little like arm flaps or whatever. When it dies, it does like a little spasm, and the flaps are just kind of flying around everywhere, and then it just like
Uh-huh.
falls backwards,
Yeah.
and the nose is just sticking straight up in the air. Dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There were so many
There's
good
so many
ones.
good ones, man. Yeah.
So many good ones. Yeah, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the thing is, I think they're also doing this because I think they're realizing that they're getting to a point where they have to focus on one or the other.
Yeah.
Either they innovate on like this open world battling style that people are loving, or they stick to what it's been for the last 30 years and they do like the turn based. And
Yeah.
I think they've seen like the huge love for like Legends Arceus and like open world and those type of like free roam battles. And so I think from now on, I think the main games, they're gonna focus more on like story and like maybe upping graphics and new Pokemon
Open world
and
exploration.
keeping that like open world stuff going and keeping that live action battling going where you're running around, you're moving, you're picking moves, and then they can also like really lean into like the battles, like super crazy move graphics, giving the Pokemon more personality when they're doing, when they're just on the field or when they're fainting, like. And I think that's a good way. Like it splits it up, and I think it gives them a lot more work, especially as they add more Pokemon into Champions, to give every single Pokemon some sort of unique personality. But I think it's what needs to be done.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know, like, and it lets them focus on like the big aspect of one, like the main games really focus on the story, the characters, the graphics, the whatever, and then over here we're really focusing on battles, big explosions, cool Pokemon animations, like, and they don't have to cram it all in together.
And somewhere they need to fit in mini games, because those are
Oh my
great.
gosh, we need minigame. I know.
Oh
That's
man,
what I
know.
like. The minigames are so fun. Like, come on,
They're
we need
so great.
minigames.
Oh,
We need
man.
freaking Chansey Egg Catch or Scyther Slice.
Oh man,
Oh,
so good, dude.
Those are so fun. I don't. How long? I mean, I can't even remember how many times, like, when we would all sleep over, how late we'd stay up, just like
Ah, they
playing
were
and taking turns on those mini games.
some of the best times, man. Like I still like we would master the, like, I mean, there would be the point where it was like a 3-way tie on the Chansey catch.
On a Chansey
and
catch.
And then you go into like the sudden death round. I can't remember what it was exactly. Or I was even thinking about the we do the trainer school quizzes.
Oh
They
yeah,
had and there's so much they could do, and that they could just really reach into the nostalgia bucket and just,
do some fun
like,
stuff.
So, do some fun stuff, you know. So I hope they do it.
I do too.
We just want to say thanks again, Press, for giving us some of your time and, you know, really talking this out. I think we're, like you said, it's kind of cool to see where we've come, where we're going. And before we sign off, I just want to give you a second if you want to plug anything on your side, and just chat for a little bit for whatever you got going on.
If you guys want to see more of me and more of my brothers who forget to get the rental cars in the correct city, you can check us out on TikTok at Pax and Bricks with an X, BRIX. We stream Pokemon card opening over there. You can also follow us on YouTube at Mondragon.05. We have stuff on there. If you can't find it, just type Mondragon Pokemon. He'll pop up. You'll see him. There's a bunch of shorts.
Sweet.
So you can also find us there. And we should be going to a lot more tournaments in the future. It's kind of turned into some work trips. We go there to play in the tournaments and to find product for the shop from the vendors. So it's kind of 2 birds, 1 stone.
Nice.
So, but yeah, feel free to follow us there if you want to hang out with us more. And hopefully we'll see you there. I mean, we have a lot of fun. If not, maybe in the future one day.
Yeah,
exactly.
No pressure. You'll just break my heart. That's all.
It's awesome, man.
I love it. And as always, everybody, feel free to check out all those channels that Preston just mentioned. Also, feel free to keep up with us. We are still in the middle of Elite Redux 2.5. Preston, just so you know, that's 4 abilities at the same time.
That sounds too much.
All good shenanigans. It's so
it's a lot,
fun.
man. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, why are we playing this, man?
Why do we do this to ourselves?
If you ever wanted to see what I don't know what Eradicate looked like with Guts and Quick Feet, and then 2 more abilities on top, and like Normalize and something like that, then check it out. But in the meantime, save yourself the headache. Yeah.
We love it. It's a good time, and then as always, we'll be keeping up with these awesome interviews, getting to know our friends and see what they're up to, and again, and other new folks that we have yet to meet. So until then, everybody, this has been Logan, Josh, and Snooze or Preston signing off. We'll see you guys.